Cheers, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the El Toro La Liga show. Oh my God, my hair's all messed up and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show. Obviously, talking about La Liga and obviously the Copa del Rey just happened this past week, and lots of things to get into. Obviously, plenty of games happened over the past 7 days or so. We have now entered March, so we are getting closer and closer towards the end of the season, obviously. But before we do, please do hit the like button on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and obviously let me know you guys' thoughts in terms of the games and all that in the live chat as well. We will start off with the Copa del Rey semi-final review, which we first have Barcelona. This was on Tuesday. Barcelona beating Athletic 3-0. However, Atletico Madrid win 4-3 on aggregate, which means that Atletico Madrid have made the Copa del Rey final. Huge achievement for them. They've not won the Copa del Rey since 2013, so it's going to be a massive, massive moment for them. Obviously, Barcelona, the defending champions last season, are now not going to retain the title in Sevilla. So, yeah, congratulations, even though they lost 3-0 and the remontada almost happened. But Atletico Madrid, congratulations to them. They look, Haram ball tactics against Barcelona in this game, but ultimately, the aggregate score is what mattered. 4-3. Atletico Madrid made it to the final, and their opponents are from the Basque Country, and that is in the case of Real Sociedad. La Real are in the final. They have made the final. They won the competition back in 2020, and also, if I'm not mistaken, actually both. What do you call this? Atletico Madrid and Real Sociedad in the past 2 seasons of the Copa del Rey, they were both eliminated in the semifinals, both of them. And now both of them have made the final of the Copa del Rey. La Real won 1-0, meaning they won 2-0 on aggregate over the rivals of Athletic Club, which meant that they made it to the final, and I'm doing all right. Obviously, I'm enjoying the Newcastle win, and hopefully we win a few more games after, especially that Barcelona game. I can't wait. But yeah, obviously, La Real are in the final with Atletico Madrid. So it's either going to be Sociedad, who have not won it since 2020, or Atletico Madrid that's not won it since 2013. And obviously, we'll actually talk about that fixture in this show. Not the final, but the league fixture between the two sides. And obviously, I will be doing, I would assume, most likely a watch along for the Copa del Rey final on the 18th of April. So in about 5-6 weeks from now, more or less, when La Liga does have like a little break just after the retro week. But yeah, now it is time. As I said, congrats to Atletico Madrid and Real Sociedad for making the final of the Copa del Rey. Now it is time to talk about, if I can get it up, the La Liga season as usual. This is now game week 27, so we are getting closer and closer to the sort of business end to the season, and it's Celta Vigo versus Real Madrid tonight. So a big game. Obviously, the reverse fixture was a 2-0 win for Celta Vigo. Unfortunately for me as a Deportivista, but obviously Real Madrid could get revenge after Real Madrid have lost back-to-back La Liga games. They've lost to Osasuna, and then they lost on Monday to Getafe. So huge outcome in La Liga. Real Madrid are now, when you look at it, let's first go through the win probability. 30% for Celta Vigo, 28% for a draw, and 42% Real Madrid win. Now, this could be one of the first times ever that Celta Vigo could do the double over Real Madrid. I hope it doesn't happen. But after those back-to-back losses, first time in almost like 3, 4, 5 years in La Liga, Real Madrid are second place. They are now 4 points behind Barcelona. So they need Barcelona to drop points in at least 2 games and for Real Madrid to win the remaining games, more or less. Obviously, they do have the El Clasico in May, so that could affect things. That could actually win the title for one of these two. But Real Madrid are now, 4 points behind Barcelona in the league, which is not good. Celta Vigo, they have basically solidified themselves in a European contention spot with back-to-back wins now, so they could go 3 in a row in terms of wins. Obviously, they got that comeback win over Girona this past Sunday. So, look, it is going to be difficult, but I do see Real Madrid bouncing back. I mean, they have to, right? Or could it be a draw? You know what? I'll go with a draw. I'll go 1-1. 1-1 draw is my prediction between Celta Vigo and Real Madrid. 1-1. That will be my prediction. Look, there's not some good stuff at Madrid right now, so I'll go 1-1 as my prediction. First, let's go to the chat. Big up to Dantrum. Hope you're doing well if the comment appears. But next up, we do have is Osasuna against Mallorca. Obviously, Osasuna on and off. Mallorca have now changed their manager. Yes, they have sacked the former manager, and now the new manager of Mallorca is Martin de Michelis. Used to play for Man City, if anyone remembers. Used to play for Sevilla as well, and the Argentina national team, I remember back in 2010 and 2014, I think, as well. Win probability, 55% Osasuna, 26% draw, 19% Mallorca win. Obviously, Osasuna, they lost after beating Real Madrid, but they are in that European contention spot, given that La Liga could get the extra Champions League spot. So we'll see how that goes. But they are in it, definitely, for the race for Europe for them. Meanwhile, Mallorca, they are 2 points now. Before it was 1, now it's 2 points. They are now 2 points away from safety, with Elche just above them. But with the change of manager after losing 4 games in a row, Mallorca could maybe start making a comeback this season with the new manager, Martin de Michelis. We'll see how he does with Mallorca. But I do think in terms of this game, I could see the home side still getting a victory here and might be a slow start for de Michelis. I'm going for a 2-0 Osasuna win. But it will be interesting to see if they can do a manager bounce. Next up, we do have here is that, doing well, as usual, is Levante against Girona. Now, obviously, earlier on in the season, this game ended 4-0 for Levante in Girona. And that was when Girona were doing really bad. But now Levante are doing bad, but they did win this past weekend. 34% win probability for Levante, 28% for draw. Girona, 38% now. You have to score a little bit down. Girona, 30 points. They are now 6 points clear of the relegation zone. I do think they'll probably survive by the end of the season, but I don't see much. I look, they're only 3 points or so from top 10, but I don't think they're getting Europe. I would say Levante, they do have to win this game. Yes, they did win this previous weekend against Alavés, if I'm not mistaken. But they have to win this game against Girona in order to have some sort of faith that they could still survive by the end of the season. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for Levante. However, they are the home side, but I might have to go with an away victory. I'm going 2-1 Girona. That'll be my prediction. 2-1 for Girona. Next up, speaking of the Copa del Rey final, this isn't the Copa del Rey final, but if you want, this is a sense of how the Copa del Rey final could be in a few weeks from now. It is Atletico Madrid versus Real Sociedad in Madrid. So, yeah, this is going to be a little tester, a little teaser of what we could expect in the Copa del Rey final, with Atletico Madrid in this particular game, 59% win probability, 23% for a draw, and 18% for Real Sociedad to win. Obviously, Atletico Madrid, I do think they will maintain their status in terms of getting Champions League football by the end of the season, back-to-back wins after having back-to-back losses. So they're doing all right for themselves, I would say. Meanwhile, Sociedad, a little dip in form, but now they've gotten back-to-back wins in the Cup and in the league. And they are definitely up in it for the European places. Obviously, if they win the Copa del Rey, they'll get into minimum Europa League. So that might be a target that they might set for themselves with this season, probably coming towards a good end for them, maybe. But yeah, in terms of a prediction, I do still think Atletico Madrid at home ahead and get some bit of confidence ahead of that Champions League game against Tottenham. I do see Atletico Madrid winning this one, maybe by a slight margin. I'm going 2-1 Atletico Madrid. I will say that 2-1 Atletico Madrid. And then tomorrow night, it is Athletic Club taking on Barcelona. Had these two teams won the Copa del Rey fixtures, they would have actually made the Cup final. This would have been the final, actually, instead. And big up to Baron as well. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, Athletic Club against Barcelona. Obviously, Barcelona won the reverse fixture. With the win probability, 20% Athletic Club, 21% for a draw, and 59% Barcelona win. Obviously, this is the game before they play Newcastle, so of course I'm going to have an eye on this game. Obviously, Barcelona. They are now 4 points clear of Madrid, and potentially could extend the gap, which could be a good benefit for Barcelona. We will have to see how it goes. But it is going to be a tough game against Athletic Club, who are the home side in this game. And they are, despite getting knocked out of the Copa del Rey, they are in contention for the European places. They have picked up much better form in La Liga. And, this is like their sort of last resort to get any form of Europe. It's not been a good season from Athletic Club. And look, this is going to be a relatively difficult game, I would say. I wouldn't be surprised if Athletic Club actually get a result. Even if Real Madrid don't beat Celta Vigo, I hope they do, but I predict a draw. I could see this being a draw between Athletic Club and Barcelona. So I will go with a 1-1 draw. I'll go 1-1 in this one. So depending on the results of Real Madrid and all that, it could be costly. Who knows? But I'm going 1-1 Athletic Club Barcelona. Why not? Next up, it's a derby. It's not really a derby. It's the smallest of the two derbies, I would say. This upcoming game. go on SofaScore and look at all the players we have out. Yeah, I saw obviously Rodrigo ACL, Mbappe's out with a knee injury. Yeah, it's not looking good for Real Madrid at the moment. But in terms of Villarreal at the moment, they are in a good spot for themselves, not being in Europe at all or giving up on that. But they are looking to get into the Champions League. Villarreal against Elche, technically a derby. Not really. It's the shitter of the 4 potential or 6 matchups of the Valencian region. Villarreal, 65% win probability, 20% for a draw, and only 15% for Elche to win. Villarreal, yeah, they lost over the past weekend, but look, they're still 8 points clear of Real Betis, who failed to beat Sevilla in the derby. So, look, it's still looking pretty decent for Villarreal to get Champions League football. Meanwhile, Elche, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. They've started the season so well, Elche. They were unbeaten in the first 7 games of the season. And now they have really, really dropped off, Elche. And I could say this, look, I do think Mallorca could be the team that goes down, but with the manager change, I could see now Mallorca surviving. I do trust Demichelis could get it right. To be honest, if I'm not, I could see it be 3 up, 3 down in La Liga, which I would say is not that good. You know, you would like to see a promoted team survive. But you could see Oviedo promoted last season, Levante promoted last season, Elche promoted last season, and in 17th. So it's not looking good, bruv. And unfortunately, I do think Villarreal could put up the score here. I can see it on Sunday. I'm going 3-0 Villarreal. I could see Villarreal getting a big win here at home against Elche. Next up, we do have is Getafe taking on Real Betis in La Liga. Let me just check where the comments are. Yeah, about 10 or so players out for Real Madrid. So we'll find out how your team lines up tonight against Celta Vigo. I'll probably have it like just watching somewhere. But Getafe taking on Real Betis. Getafe, Real Betis in La Liga. Now, obviously, Getafe on Monday beat Real Madrid for only the 2nd time at the Bernabeu since 2008. Betis had a 2-goal lead against Sevilla at home and drew 2-2 against Sevilla in the derby. In terms of win probability, it is pretty even. 33% Getafe, 33% draw, 34% Betis, so it's practically even. You can see either result happening. Betis, technically unbeaten in La Liga, but they haven't been picking up the results. Betis back-to-back draws, and they obviously are having the focus of the Europa League to come. So we'll see how they do in the Europa League. I think they got the team from Greece. They got Panathinaikos. I could see Betis. Actually, I could see Betis winning the Europa League this season with the GOAT. So yeah, that would be pretty interesting to see if the GOAT Anthony actually does it. And in terms of this game against Getafe, 3 wins in the last 4. Getafe, from the start of the year until they got that first win 4 games ago, Getafe were in the worst form ever. And now, since Valentine's Day, after a few kisses, they've kissed 3 wins in La Liga, which means that they are in a much better spot. I don't think they'll get into Europe, even the Conference League. I don't think so, I'll be honest. But they have picked up form. Both teams decently on form. But I'm going for a draw. I'll go 1-1. I'll go 1-1 between Getafe and Real Betis. That's my prediction there. Next up, we do have is Sevilla taking on Rayo Vallecano, and Rayo Vallecano have picked up form now, which is crazy. But Sevilla, meanwhile, came back 2-0 down against Betis in the derby, drew 2-2. Win probability 38% Sevilla win, 30% for draw, and 32% for Rayo Vallecano win. And as you can see, both teams 12 against 13th, both on 30 points. But technically, 4 games unbeaten in La Liga. And obviously, Rayo Vallecano, I literally forgot who they play in the Conference League, but now they have the Conference League to kind of look forward to. They're not completely safe, Rayo, but they do have to maybe pick up 1 or 2 more wins, I would say, in the next 3-4 games, I would say, to be okay, I would say. But Sevilla, look, I think Sevilla will survive. I know some people thought they might get relegated. I do think they survive ultimately, Sevilla. It is going to be a tough game, but I just think Sevilla might pull off a win here. I'm going 3-1. 3-1 Sevilla. I'll go 3-1 for Sevilla. And then on Sunday night, technically a 6-pointer. Both teams not in the relegation zone, but they are in danger of going down. It is Valencia taking on Alavés. With the win probability 46% Valencia, 30% for draw, and only 24% for Alavés. As you can see, it is 15th against 16th. Alavés 2 points behind Valencia, and Valencia, with a win this past weekend after, winning the derby and then, losing, but then picking up a win again. Alavés haven't won in the past 4 games in La Liga, so not great, and they are only 3 points from the relegation zone. So if potential certain results don't go their way, Alavés could be the team in that relegation zone. So we'll see how that goes. It will be tough. Oh, yeah, to be honest, it is quite tough to call. It really is. I will say Valencia. I'll say Valencia to win. I'll go 2-0. Yeah, 2-0. I'm going 2-0 Valencia. That's what I think will happen. 2-0 for Valencia. And then next up on Monday night, the glorious matchup of the weekend or the Monday. Espanyol versus Real Oviedo. And as I said, Espanyol have not won a game in the year of our Lord 2026. Real Oviedo, meanwhile, not in great form for them. And as you can see, win probability 50% Espanyol win, 28% for a draw, and only 22% Real Oviedo win. But as I said, Espanyol, I would say they're very, very, very lucky to be in 7th place, because the start of the season, they were doing really well, like up until New Year's. And then it's all come to shit. It has really come to shit. They've not won a single game in 2026. This is at home against the team bottom of the league. And Oviedo are fighting for their lives, And I do see Espanyol finally getting their first win of 2026. And I will say it will be a 2-1 win for Espanyol. A 2-1 win for Espanyol. That'll be my prediction. 2-1 for Espanyol. So now it is time for the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the week. Now, obviously, there's a few contenders for that, for the best player of this past weekend. Obviously, even though it didn't happen over the weekend, you can say Jorge de Frutos got 2 goals against Oviedo, and doing quite well against Athletic Club. You know, actually scoring in that game. There's 2 players in consideration. It's Jorge de Frutos and Yamin Yamal with a hat trick against Villarreal. I'm not really going to take the Copa del Rey much in consideration, but because it's 2 impressive results for Rayo, I'm actually going for Jorge de Frutos to get the El Toro de la Semana. So Yamin Yamal hasn't won the best player of the week, unfortunately. For any Barcelona fans, I do think Jorge de Frutos is the better, you could say, more or less, something like that. So Jorge de Frutos, for the first time this season, the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the week, which is really, really good for him and for Rayo Vallecano, even though it's not technically like the most prestigious awards. And big up to Immortal Mabuti. And big up to Brandon as well. Now it is time for the Segunda. So let me just get this sorted. All right, there we go. So now it is time for the Segunda review. Game week 28, and we're heading into game week 29. Lots to get into. Over the weekend, this past weekend, Albacete won, Almeria won, which is a good result for Deport. You have Zaragoza 0, Burgos 1, Zaragoza. And actually, they sacked Ruben Sellers, the manager. He started the season with Sheffield United, did shit, got sacked, appointed by Real Zaragoza. No surprise, got sacked. No surprise. So, yeah, Zaragoza really in the shit. And they're not the only team from Aragon that's in the shit. Huesca are in the shit as well. 1-0 loss away at Valladolid. You have it happens every single fucking week. Andalusian derby, Malaga beating Granada, huge win for them. And then the game of the weekend, Racing Santander have finally, Castellon have finally lost a fucking game. Jesus Christ, these guys, Castellon, the team that just lost this past Saturday, they've been literally winning. Like, oh my God. I don't hate Castellon because they do wear black and white stripes, so I don't mind them. But Jesus Christ, they were winning every single fucking game. They were winning every single fucking game up until this one. And Santander have put themselves in a glorious position, at least for now. I come on. We all know the history of the Sociedad. Why am I thinking of? We do know the history of the Racing, or the history of the Santander. They might bottle it still, but you'll see the league table. As for Deportivo La Coruña, obviously I don't do the La Piña Rosa show with Charlie anymore, unfortunately. But Deportivo remontada. Jesus Christ, we had to win this game against Real Sociedad. Well, I said Sociedad. We last minute goal, Mario Soriano with the winning goal, and that has really helped us. That win, because had we not won, considering that the top 2 played each other, huge win, huge, tremendous victory for Depor. And it really helps us. It really does. In terms of getting at least the top 2 by the end of the season. We'll see. Meanwhile, Sporting Gijon, Leganes. Now, I have to mention the unfortunate passing. This game was postponed from Sunday to technically Monday. The game did end 0-0. They did play it. But unfortunately, a Sporting Gijon supporter unfortunately passed away just prior to the game. So yeah, obviously sad to hear about it. Obviously, you know, obviously, Sporting Gijon fan obviously passing away is not great, and descansa en paz, rest in peace. And we'll see how things go. It's almost a similar situation that happened at Ceuta earlier in the season. You know, we've been having a couple of these already now. Two incidents. Earlier with Ceuta, and then this past weekend with Sporting Gijon. Not great. So yeah, not great at all. Moving on, we had that ending in a 0-0 draw technically on Monday. You then have Ceuta beating Mirandes 1-0. Las Palmas finally picking up a win away at the worst home team of the league. They're just as bad as Spurs at home. 3-0 win for Las Palmas against Cultural Leonesa. You had Eibar 3, Cadiz 1, and then finally Andorra, the team potentially fighting that relegation battle. 4-1 winners away at Cordoba. So Cordoba not doing well. And then tonight we have Cadiz playing again, obviously, against Zaragoza. New manager bounce, we'll see. It'll be tough. Castellón against Sociedad B. We'll see if Castellón can actually bounce back from that home loss to Santander. Huesca against Albacete will be tough. Burgos against Mirandes, technically a derby. Both teams kind of near each other somewhat. Miranda de Ebro and Burgos, both from Castilla y León. Tough game to call that, and but I do see Burgos winning that. Malaga taking on Valladolid will be tough. Las Palmas against Ceuta on a Sunday, starting it off. You have Andorra taking on Sporting Gijon. Leganés taking on Eibar. And then, at that same time, Santander taking on Cordoba. We'll see if Santander do not bottle it after, a good win. Deportivo La Coruña, we take on Granada. It is going to be tough. We have to start picking up home wins. We cannot be dropping home. We are the best away team, but the home form is win, draw, win, loss, win. That sort of thing. Have to be a little bit more consistent with the wins at home now, because we're good away from home somehow. Is it just because of pressure? Maybe. And then on Monday, I am praying Leonesa, please, Leonesa, please. They take on Almeria on Monday night. We'll see. We will see. In terms of the league table, I'm just getting the league table up. As I said, the top 6 get minimum playoff. The top 2 obviously get into La Liga. So this is how the top 6 looks. The top 2 is still the top 2, but because they play each other, Santander are now 4 points clear. 4 points clear. So Santander will have at least one more weekend being at the top of the Segunda with that big win away at Castellón that could help them, or it could just be a mirage, you could say. Meanwhile, Castellón, Almeria, and Deportivo La Coruña, well, all of us, we are on 49 points each. So it is all to play for. It could be anyone's game here now. Malaga, just not that far behind, only 2 points behind. Back-to-back wins as well. And Las Palmas winning finally for them. Could be good for them. They are on 45 points. Meanwhile, the teams chasing the pack of Las Palmas and probably Malaga at the moment. You have Ceuta, 44 points. Burgos, 43 points. Sporting Gijon on 42 points. So it is quite close. Cordoba on 41. So I would say, and Eibar, maybe they might pick up form on, they're in 11th place on 38 points. I do think the top 11 is, or the top 10 even, is the teams fighting for that top 6 spot of at least having a chance of promotion. Andorra, back-to-back wins. I've seen them, do make a bit of a gap from relegation zone. Albacete on 35 points. Cadiz, they've completely fallen off. They've dropped off. Cadiz, I don't think they get up. I don't think Leganés, relegated last season. I don't think they'll get promoted. Sociedad B, thank God we didn't give them a 4th straight win. We beat them, and they are on 34 points on 16th. Granada in 17th, with Valladolid winning that 32 points against Huesca, who have dropped now. They have now dropped into the relegation zone. It is the bottom 4. The bottom 4 is the teams that go down to Primera Ref, or the 3rd tier of Spanish football. Yeah. Somehow Cadiz has won. Yeah. They've fallen off completely. I don't think they're in the top 6 fight. I don't think they'll get relegated, because I do think the bottom 3 right now, Leonesa, Mirandas, Zaragoza, I do think will go down eventually. Huesca, I could see them having a chance of survival. In terms of who might go down, because I do think the bottom 3 goes down, that means one more team goes down. I do think it is probably... I don't think Andorra, Albacete, and Cadiz go down. I also don't think Leganes go down. I do think it's between these 4. Sociedad B, Granada, Valladolid, Huesca. I think it'll be one of these. And I think it might be Huesca. It might actually be them. We could see both Aragonese sides go down by the end of the season. We'll find out. I do think Zaragoza, even if they pick up back-to-back wins now, I don't think will survive. That's why I think, unfortunately for them, that's how things might go in the Segunda. So yeah, that's basically it for the El Toro La Liga show. Actually, a much more better turnout. So I might actually do this show at around this time. Actually, it's actually a much better turnout this time around at this particular time. So I might actually do it at this time. It's pretty good, actually. So yeah, as I said, big up for everyone. Obviously, as I said, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Obviously, I will be keeping an eye on mainly Barcelona. Obviously, because it's Barcelona and Newcastle, which I will be doing a watch along for on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday is our game. Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Spain time. Tuesday night, it is going to be Newcastle United versus Barcelona. I am doing a watch along because I couldn't do one back in September, so I am doing one on Tuesday. Big one, absolute big, massive game on Tuesday, and obviously Wednesday following that, depending on what the result is. So yeah, looking forward to that, and obviously doing my Magpie Cream Pie show, and I will be doing a preview with AD744 prior to the Newcastle United Barcelona match. So most likely Sunday, it might be Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, whichever one. You guys will see it scheduled a little bit closer to the time. So yeah, obviously, as I said, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I will see you guys on the Magpie Cream Pie show. If somehow not, the watch long of Newcastle United versus FC Barcelona. Peace.